So let's go to our FI box. So already the LTM is selected as a nominal. So let's do it like this. Let's click on next. So whenever you do the provisioning, or if you will do the reprovisioning, so your system will reboot. Okay. When you will do, sorry, if you do the reprovisioning, the system will reboot. For example, now if I want to again reprovision it, then system will reboot. Now this is the next step, which was the device certificate. So we don't need to get a certificate, but you can also get a CA based certificate, and you can import it. Okay, you can import it from your device, right? The certificate, and keep here. Okay, give it a name. Okay, you can copy paste it here, right? A certificate you can get from the CA. But generally, I haven't seen a device certificate being used. So only that they use the default certificate, whatever is present onto the device. Okay, so don't need, this is the optional step. So let's click on next. Now the next step is the platform configuration. Okay, so management port, we don't want to change it. We can keep it as now, like
Sorry,
we have done it using this. Yeah.
yeah, I have one question on device certificate.
Yeah.
Whenever you are saying it's a certificate using from the device, that means the certificate is already on the FI or the certificate is already on the server. How it's work?
It's already certificate is already onto the BKP device, means its own certificate, device
It's
certificate. It has a self-signed device certificate, not a CA signed certificate. Okay,
okay.
so
So
whenever you have a self-signed certificate, so you will see whenever you will get the access to the device, it will give you an error, right? If you will see here, HTTPS coming as cross, because our browser doesn't recognize it. Okay.
yeah. So likely this certificate has any validity or basically this my understanding about certificate are to be expired, right?
This self-signed certificate doesn't have any validity, but if you would have installed the CA signed certificate, they all come with expiration date. Okay.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No problem. Thank
Okay. So here you can give a host name to the device. Okay. Management port is already given. Okay. One more thing, the blue mark that you will see, that means they are mandatory to be filled. Okay. So other than the field, you can skip them. So host name, for example, we will give is, you can give anything. For example, I'm giving this big IP. Uninets. Okay, so host name needs to be a fully qualified domain name, like ending .net, .org, .com, .in, like that. Lag is okay. So let's go to our device again, where we were setting out the. Okay, so this needs to be a fully qualified domain name like Uninets.com. Okay, so host IP address, use management IP address. Okay, so root account. You can disable the login, but it is needed. So credential will not be asked, but it is not recommended. So what we are going to do is we are going to set it out the root password. By default, it is default, so I am changing it to some other value. Root at the rate 23. Root at the rate 23. And admin I'm changing is admin at the rate 23. Admin at the rate. Okay, so SSH IP allowed. So SSH access, we have enabled the SSH access. You can also disable it. You can also allow the SSH access only from this particular source range. For example, let's say I want to allow it only from 192.168.10/24. Okay, so from this particular network, only this will be allowed. Okay, so but let's skip this for now. Let's allow it for the address. Click on next. So as I have changed the credentials, so I will be again asked to password not match. Okay, so it will be rebooted because of we have changed. You can see now the host name is also changed. Okay, and admin, admin. Okay, so caps was on, so they detect the password as the uppercase letter. So let's move on. Now the thing is, we have the option, for example, here to set up it according to the big options. So it will ask us to do the basic setup. If I click on next, if I do the advanced, if I click on the finish, then we have to set up everything ourselves. For example, VLAN, HA, and all that. Let's go with the standard network configuration first. Click on next. Okay, so it is allowing us to do the redundant device wizard option. It is for the HA. So now we are going to skip it. Just click on next. Okay, these are the self IP address. Okay, self IP address. Let's say I'm giving this 172.16.11.1. Okay, next option is the port lockdown. So port lockdown means if the traffic is generated for this particular self IP, then what type of traffic is allowed, which port number will be allowed. So it has a list. Allowed default has already a list which it allowed a number of ports. So instead, what we can do is we can change it also. Allow none, only allow particular, or we can have our custom list as well. So for now, I'm choosing as the allow default. Okay, if you want to see which port is allowed. Okay, so go to Tmesh. Show that. So forgetting the of the self allow. For example, all the routers. So there are number of ports which are allowed. Okay. Okay, so floating self IP address. So I am giving it 11.33. Now, what the floating self IP address is, if you remember the HSRP, if you know what HSRP is, into the HSRP we have the virtual IP, if you remember, right? So, which will act as the that is same IP is configured on the active as well as a standby unit. Okay, so only the active unit will give the reply of the request for that particular IP. So similar way, this floating self IP, okay, will be given for the is for the HA purpose. Okay, and we are setting it for the internal network. So this setting up for the internal network means the server side. Okay, so tag internal VLAN. Now the thing is, we give the self IP to a VLAN and then we attach that VLAN to the interface. So in the F5 terminologies, we don't have direct assigning of the IP address to the interfaces. We assign the IP address to the VLAN and then we assign the VLAN to the particular interface. So I am keeping, for example, 1.1. I am keeping it as for the internal, and I am keeping it as a untagged. And click on add and click on next. Okay, now we are doing is creating external VLAN. So 172.16.100.11. That mask is 2.0. Port lockdown. See the difference. Into the internal side, the default port lockdown settings were allowed default. But as this IP address will be exposed to the external side, okay, to the public side, here what they are doing is they are allowing none. So what you can do is you can allow them default also if you want to take the access of the big IP device. For somehow the console is not available in any case or the management interface goes down. In that case, you have the option to take the access of the big IP device. So the self IP address also. Okay, default gateway. If you want to keep it, okay, I am keeping it as none 16.100.23 and allow default. Okay, assigning the interface 1.2 to as a untag to this VLAN. Next. Okay, so now we are doing is creating the HA VLAN, HA interface setting or the VLAN setting. Okay, 16.33.33 I have given. Okay, so let's move to the net mask 0. Order interface 1.3. That is the last interface. Untag. Add. Next. Okay, so if you want to, that is for the NTP setting. If you want, if you have any NTP server in your network, you can add them at this 4.4.4.4. Guys, just give me a minute. Let me inform them that lab is looking very soon. Okay, so you can edit any server if you have and click on next. Okay, DNS server list if you want to edit, the bind server if you want to edit. Okay, but for this lab, as we don't have any, you can add them here and edit here. We are going to click on next. Config sync configuration. Okay, config sync. Let's keep it down. Let's keep it down as it is. That is for the HA configuration. Means that whenever there will be the big IP pairs, what they will do is they will have the same configuration file, so they will sync with each other. So that is for this purpose. That is also for the HA. We will nothing separate. What do you think is HA? Let's do it for the next. Connection mirroring. Will it is also a part of HA. I'm going to skip it for now. Okay, everything is covered. And now you do the standard pair configuration, that is HA. We will cover it later. For now, click on finish. So Rajesh and uh, so everything clear up till now? We are just configuring the platform to take the traffic. Before,
Hello, Himanshu. I think there is a lot of voice breakage. I don't know what was the issue. Last 5 minutes, there was some kind of voice breakage. I cannot listen anything.
now is it clear? Now is it clear now?
Yeah. Now it's fine.
Okay. So what we did was we configured the big IP box IP for the IP addressing. Let me tell you what we did. In our lab, what we have is we have the big IP. Behind it, there will be servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3, and server 4. Okay, and they will be connected to interface 1.1, that is having the internal VLAN. And internal VLAN, the subnet going over is 172.16.11.0/24. Okay, self IP address I have given is 172.16.11.11. Okay, and for the floating self IP address for the internal VLAN is 172.16.11.33. Okay, and then we also have at this is for the internal VLAN. For the external VLAN, which will be facing the client, okay, we have is 1.2 interface connected to the external VLAN. IP address is 172.16.100.11. self IP address is 172 dot, sorry, the floating IP address is .33 and subnet running is /24. Okay, and then we also have, this is the interface 1.2. Then we also have one more interface which is 1.3, which is for the HA pair. Okay, big IP2, and it is running 172.16.100.33 as a floating self IP address. Dot 100. This is what we did in our lab. So this is the external network. This is our internal network. Okay, so here we are running this on the internal side. We are running this network. Servers will be in the same subnet, and here our client is there. So client, we are not, there is no router, so they will be into the same subnet as well. Okay, so that's what we have done the configuration for now. Okay, Vijesh and Kamaksha, now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the configuration is done, now let's try to go to our PC and let's try to ping the self IP addresses. Okay, ping 172.16.11.11. So it is pingable. Let me check what IP addresses. Let's try to take the access. Let's try to pick up more time. We are able to ping it. Let's try to take the access of the self IP address. So as you can see, we are also able to take the access of the VIP device using the self IP address also. Okay. First, let's do one more thing. Interface 1.2. Okay, 1.2 is our external interface that is connected to 1/2 of the switch and E3/0. Okay, so let's keep them into the same VLAN. Okay, 1/2 and E3/0. E1/2 and E3/0. 1/2 E3/0 support access VLAN. Let's try to ping now. Yeah, now we will not be able to ping.
Hi, Himanshu. Like how long this session is going to be?
This will go on for another 1 hour.
Another 1 hour.
Yeah. The As I was informed, it's going to be the 4 hour class.
So there is a power cut over here. I don't know.
Sorry.
Over here there is a power cut. I don't know how long
Okay. So let me confirm with what, because Lalit is also saying it is going to be a 3 hour class. Okay. Just give me a minute. Yeah, Lalit and Brijesh will go for another 1 hour. I just confirmed. So let's do one thing. If you guys are getting want to take one, if it is sufficient, if you are not getting overloaded, we can continue. Otherwise, we can continue from tomorrow, same time.
Yeah, that would be good. We can feel good.
Yeah, Brijesh, any recommendation from?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Whatever you guys say.
So what I will like you to do is get your access ready, ping the Uninets, get your access for the lab, and at least do the licensing. So what the remaining part is remaining is for the lab configuration is the setting of the servers. So I want you to get your license, big IP license, and tomorrow we will set up the lab for the traffic processing, and then we will move to the next topics. Okay, like to take the backups, UCS files. Uh,
So
okay.
everyone,
That would be good. And another thing is like the lab, the practical thing that you did today. So whether you will be helping us to do same thing by tomorrow. So we'll be doing live.
what
Live
what what
sessions.
what you will do is get your access. They have one workbook, okay, which contain all the steps to setting up the lab. Okay, they will give you the access of that also. Okay, how you can set up the labs. If you face any other issue, what we can do is we can discuss it after the class, or we can start the class half an hour earlier. Okay,
Okay. So you mean like legs issue? Legs something?
sorry, I'm saying is they will give you the access of the workbook. Okay,
Okay, legs. Legs.
not lakhs, a workbook.
Okay.
Workbook. So the workbook contains all the steps to configure the labs and all the practicals that you have to do. Okay. So through it you can access the lab, and if you face any issue, then we can discuss it before or after the class. Okay. You guys have to ping me up if you have any other issue. We can start the class half an hour earlier.
Sure.
Otherwise, we can stay half an hour late. But that tomorrow the class will go on for 4 hours.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
yeah. One more thing. I mean, do we ever need to register for the license? Because in
Yes.
lab,
Yes.
okay, in lab. So in lab, everyone has a different F5 or.
Yes, everyone will have a separate instance of their lab. So whatever the changes will do, it will remain up till your account. It will not be
Oh,
reflected in the other.
other account.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I will apply then also. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.